Hello everybody, welcome to A Moment of Clarity. This is the viewer questions or comments segment. If you leave a comment below in this video, we will enter you to possibly win a free download of my comedy special. I'll say who the winners were from last week at the end of this video. Let's get into it. This is a response to the last pre-show. You guys have seen the pre-shows I've been putting up on YouTube where I go through some of the paper headlines there for the live audience. Anyway, this is iCrooks69. Does that mean a crooked 69, or is that? I don't know if you're a 69 thief. I think that's illegal, in most states. iCrooks says, "This is unbelievably funny and present." Thank you. This whole thing, I like the present. It's funny and it's present. It's here. To continue. This should be done weekly. Seriously. It is done weekly. Seriously. We've been putting them up every week, I think, for the past 4 or 5. To continue, Just Lee... Oh, they're describing what the pre-show is. Just Lee taking the New York Times or the Washington Post and reading it accurately. Absolutely amazing. Exposes what amazingly awful garbage our media has become. Thank you so much. Yes, we are doing them weekly, so please tune in. If you miss one, come to this YouTube channel, Redacted Tonight, or youtube.com/Moment of Clarity Show, and you can watch them all there. This is from Cubulus. Says, "Can we cancel Bill Maher already and just put in Lee Camp already?" Very, very many alreadys in that sentence. They were like, already. Can we get this going already? I agree. If you get a chance, if one of you has a moment, feel free to fire Bill Maher and put me in his slot. The problem is, and actually this is Tony DeMio's response to Cubulus, Lee Camp would be fired in 2 minutes. Agreed. A lot of people think that because Bill Maher is outside the box, because he's unusual, because he's willing to go after corporations at times, go after the two-party figures in various ways. They think that he's rogue, he's beyond what's allowed on your mainstream airwaves, but he's not really. I mean, yes, he was fired from ABC for saying that the 9/11 hijackers were courageous. It was more of a comedic semantic point about how much courage it would take to do that, and he's right. It takes courage to kill a lot of people, and so he was making fun of the language and the way we use it, and they fired him for that. So in that way, maybe he's outside the mainstream. So then he went over to HBO, where he's been for years and years, and a lot of people don't realize that he's still feeding in to the system as a whole. He's not actually calling for change beyond our kind of unfettered capitalist rule. He will speak to the inequality here and there, but I would argue that it's still within what's acceptable for our corporate kind of overlords. On top of that, although I like his criticisms of religion, he is a huge Islamophobe, and it seems that his true ire, while he hates all religion, his true ire is reserved for Muslims in general. So that's super shitty. Anyway, there's a lot about him that's shitty if you really start to pick it apart, because I don't think you don't get a mainstream show on HBO. Maybe in the old days when HBO was kind of swinging for the fences, subscription model, they were like, let's put George Carlin on, and George Carlin was allowed to say whatever the fuck he want, and he got away with things that most comedians cannot. At least not on a big platform. Yes, you can say it in a fucking comedy club somewhere, but that's not your corporate airwaves, is it now? So, but now HBO is obviously one of the largest entities in our entertainment spectrum right now, and they're not going to put anything on there that's not largely going with the State Department lines, for the most part. Not questioning anything too much, not pushing along the walls too much. John Oliver's another example. He's done some great reporting on certain things, and he will go after corporations for certain things, which I think speaks to the fact that he is at HBO and not on Comcast. But then he's doing State Department talking points for, on China or Venezuela or Jill Stein. He does one show a week, something like 5 out of every 6 weeks. That's it. And he spent an entire one just trashing Jill Stein. Because you know what? It's about time someone really brought the Green Party down a peg. They've just been riding too high for too long, dominating every election. And finally, someone really took down Jill Stein and the Green Party. Anyway, you get the point. Moving on. This is a response to the Max Blumenthal segment, as I've talked about in many different videos. Max Blumenthal, great reporter, friend of mine. He's been on VIP multiple times. He was arrested for completely false charges that even the police claim are 5 months old, and initially the warrant for arrest was denied, and then they re-upped it suddenly once his reporting got too threatening for our ruling elite and the coup they're trying to create in Venezuela. Anyway, this is a response to that from AWC222. Please avoid using third-person plural when describing tyranny. It's not our government, we did it, etc. I didn't vote for it and never consent to its criminal actions. Well, I understand what you're saying, and I have actually thought about this before, and at times I don't. At times I say they for the ruling elite, for the kind of totalitarian structure we're underneath. But I do say we a lot, and I do that for a purpose. It's not poorly thought out. Let's put it that way. I don't think we can just shirk all responsibility, A, because it is, if you live in this country, then you are still a part of it. You're probably paying taxes, even if you are, refusing to pay taxes, which is pretty rare. I've met people who've tried it. It doesn't generally last that long without getting massive fees and, possibly arrested and things like that. So if you're paying taxes, you're paying into this system. You're part of this system. It doesn't mean we consent to these decisions, these fucking awful decisions made by fucking war criminals. No, I'm not saying we do. But I think the we is important. And it also speaks to the fact that I am American. I've lived in America my whole life. This is who I am and who I've been my whole life. And so I don't feel I can say from a standpoint of look at how fucked up this is. Maybe I feel like I'm on the outside of it as I discuss it, but the truth is I am a part of it. I am an American. I'm here, and so I think if I were to make it all they, look at what America's doing, they're doing that. I think then all of a sudden it sounds like I'm in a bunker in Guam somewhere or, hiding on an island somewhere, when in fact, I am an American who's lived here my whole life. Unfortunately, I live in the fucking capital now. So there's a reason I'm using we. I think it helps remind us that we're a part of this and that we need to stand up and fight against what is wrong with this system. But I certainly see your point, and I've certainly thought about it. This is a response to Lebanon being the last of the 7 countries that General Wesley Clark said the Pentagon was planning on overturning or disrupting or invading. For 7 countries in 5 years, and Lebanon is the last on the list, really. And now the Washington Post was saying we need to go into Lebanon. So this is a response to that. DID said, as always, you're greatly. Any word on your new book's release date? Oh, I don't know why I gave that whole Lebanon intro when it had nothing to do with Lebanon. Anyway, thank you, though, DID. Yes, I mentioned in that video that, I think it was the first mention, that I have a new book with PM Press coming up. It is the assortment of my entirety of Truth Dig articles, all the ones that are mainly the evergreen ones, and it will put them all together, spruced them up, remastered them. We remastered my writing, and it's all going to be together in one book titled Bullet Points and Punchlines. So it will come out. It doesn't come out until March, but I believe pre-orders may be as soon as late November, early December. So pre-orders may start soon, and I'll be setting up the book tour. It'll be similar to the tour I've already been, doing kind of constantly, where I'm constantly going to cities, but, we'll factor in some book tour aspects to it. Anyway, there's your answer. When it is available for pre-sale and up on PM Press's website, I will make a much bigger deal of it then. By the way, there's a huge intro and forward to that book. Top secret. I'll let you know more soon. Common Censored. This is a response to my podcast, Common Censored, which, as you probably noticed, we now put on YouTube as well. George Johnson says, how much did this false arrest cost U.S. citizens? Yeah, I know, seriously. I already mentioned Max Blumenthal. I already went through, again, what happened to him. And, George Johnson here is making a great point, which is we're paying for this. Again, we. See how the we comes in there? We're paying for this. We're paying for the arrest of journalists in our own country. We're paying for the bombs that we drop overseas. We're paying for all these things. And that's yet another reason that it is we, and that we should be fucking furious, and that we should get angry about it. And our money is being dumped into, it's tempting to say nonsense, dumped into nonsense, but in fact it's fucking killing and awful shit. So it's not nonsense, it's awful, awful, horrible things that our money is largely funding. 55% of our discretionary spending goes to military. $21 trillion unaccounted for at the Pentagon. It's just, it's outrageous and unbelievable, and it's hard to even describe. And the truth is, if we were to understand that amount of money and where it's going and everything, then we could get closer to an understanding of kind of modern monetary theory, where those people want to go with it, which is that we have all the money that we need for healthcare and education and infrastructure and everything else. We just pretend as if we don't. We just pretend as if it can only go to military. Okay, the winners for this week are Julie Zhu and Hex Pool. You're the winners, and if you email leecampledger@protonmail.com, we'll send you a free download of my comedy special, which everyone else can pick up if you want to at leecampcomedyspecial.com. Please subscribe to this channel. We're heavily suppressed. Now they have our subscribers seeming not quite capped, but down to a trickle. Basically, they unsubscribe you as new people are joining in. So keep checking that you're subscribed here and subscribed at youtube.com/Moment of Clarity Show. Yeah, just make sure you're subscribed, make sure you keep in touch, and text the word redacted to 444-999 to get signed up for the emails. All right, keep fighting.